How will you stay the course when the waters get choppy? Are you prepared? How will you navigate the next storm? Life is unpredictable, even more so now in 2020. So most of you have already had to navigate a number of changes in your daily lives. But what about a real storm? What about a primary breadwinner's job loss, a scary health diagnosis, a loss of a close relationship? Join me as I reflect on the stories from our new book on the common thread and themes that helped these amazing women not only survive, but thrive through their storm or unexpected life detour. And I'll share what I believe to be the top 5 critical steps you'll need to successfully stay afloat. Hey there, and welcome back to Life Reimagined with Wendy, and thanks for joining. It's really been great to see the reception to our newest book called Life Unexpected to Life Inspired, now available on Amazon and my website, DestinationUWendy.com. The book is a part of a multimedia collaborative, and it includes stories from a diverse group of women. What I find most fascinating, though, are even though we've got these very different stories, we have these common threads or key steps that each of us took independently, but really made up the difference in helping them come through to the other side stronger, happier, and personally much more resilient. Yes, sure, their success did not happen overnight, but one key takeaway for me is getting to know them better and in hearing each of their stories is the significance of their daily choices and their mental fortitude. These and a few other traits were instrumental in helping them keep taking those baby steps forward and to be able to keep making the progress to not only survive, but get beyond the detour and roadblock and actually thrive and end up being in a much better place and on a better path personally and professionally. I hope you've had a chance to listen to their interviews in my previous podcast episodes, as hearing more details about their personal struggles and story in their own voice is so much more fun. And you also get to hear their selection for the best 1980s TV show that influenced them in our younger days. So, I don't know, maybe you're like me, you've had to deal with divorce. Maybe you are like Rosie, who had to deal with multiple job changes and decided that she was going to personally invest in another career direction. Maybe instead you're like Heather with a new health diagnosis or challenge and way more food sensitivities than you could possibly envision. Maybe you're like Guadalupe and Barbara, who traveled down unplanned career detours after years of great experience and success in the corporate roles, but now changes that sounded like what many other women in their 40s and 50s were experiencing. Maybe you were like Cindy, who had joyous news interrupt her career earlier than expected, and how she decided to choose family over the previous corporate ladder. Or maybe you're like Gabby, who feels like that this is the first time in her own life she's driving her own car. Maybe you're like Kimberly, who had not only divorce and loss of love, but finding new love and having a new baby all in a very, very short time. Maybe you were like Shannon, who experienced financial hardships, like significant financial hardships, but now is getting ready to open her own business. Or maybe you're like Teresa, who sustained an awful accident or traumatic brain injury, and after lots of therapy and lots of laughter, is in a new position now and influencing many, many more people than she previously envisioned. Maybe you're fortunate to not have experienced any of these detours, or maybe you've experienced a very different life event, life detour, or trauma, and are still in the midst of getting through it. Regardless of where you are today, what have you learned from getting through each of these storms? How will you handle the next big one? In considering mine and the experiences of my co-authors, I've concluded there are really 5 critical steps you need to be ready to be more masterfully getting through to make sure you get through the hurdles and the hurdles that you don't even know are yet to come in your life. So let's dive right in because it's easy to remember the 5 R's. Rejuvenate, regroup, reframe, reprioritize, and review. Okay, so step number 1, rejuvenate. You have to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually every day. so that you're in the best position possible to deal with any hiccups or stresses you're going to encounter. You really must know yourself and have confidence in your own strength. Make intentional and good daily choices so you can really try to avoid unnecessary trauma or unnecessary drama and keep those small embers from really becoming bigger fires and bigger problems in your life. Step 2 is to regroup. If you've done what you can to prevent the problems and take care of yourself and get ready, but find that stress or that detour still has a way of creeping into your life, the next step is to pause, breathe, and regroup. Charging too quickly into the fix-it mode will really only hinder your long-term progress and really risks taking you down another rabbit hole. Take that moment to really pause and regroup so you can be smarter about the sequence and the timing of your next steps. And hopefully this will lead more quickly to your ultimate resolution. Number 3 is to reframe. If you've heard any of my messages or read any of my work to date, you've already heard me bring up this term, as I believe reframing is really important as I get older, and it's critical to your happiness. You have to stop and think differently about these situations and these stressors. You've got to keep it in perspective. Is it really the end of the world? I mean, I find I'm knocked off my balance way less than what would have been more significant in my 20s or 30s. Yes, it may totally suck that that's happening to you, or that you're in the middle of something that you really don't want to have to deal with. I know, but you got to put your big girl pants on. And there is a reason, or there may be a benefit that will come out of your experience, even if you don't see it yet. Decide that it will be something that contributes positively in your life. And in the end, it will be a positive force. And again, it doesn't solve all of your problems or make the trauma magically disappear, but it makes it easier to tackle. Which leads us to number 4, reprioritize. Now it's time to tackle it. Think of it like triage in the emergency department and identify the most urgent needs first. What literally can you put on the back burner while you deal more quickly with the fire that's out of control right now? Create these into the steps into smaller and more doable pieces so you can execute one at a time and gain more progress and more confidence as you get through them. And this may not be a one-time exercise, there's your warning, but instead a constant reshuffling of the daily tasks tugging on you. So know that this may continue to be fluid, but although it may feel like regrouping and reframing repeatedly is slowing you down, it may ultimately be the fastest path to resolution or success. And finally, number 5 is to review. What the hell just happened? What did you learn from the experience that makes your life better or helps you minimize the chance of it happening again or really monkeying with your future? Who in your significant other circle or support group has been helpful? Who could you count on? You know, this is a step many people forget, but every time you learn from each of these experiences, you have a better chance of spotting them earlier before they get out of control and hopefully wreak less havoc into your world. And, you know, the best case scenario is now hopefully you can even avoid going through that kind of crap altogether. So, rejuvenate, regroup, reframe, reprioritize, and review. Easy in theory, but hopefully easier to utilize and hopefully prepares you so that even though it doesn't solve world hunger, maybe spending a few minutes today listening in and focusing on these 5 R's will help you actively take the small but significant steps to go from the life unexpected to your own life inspired, to weathering the storms and hopefully living more happily and the best life possible. So I hope you'll check out our new book available on Amazon or my website called A Life Unexpected to Life Inspired. And I invite you to lean in more with our DestinationU community, with those who are similarly investing to make this their best time and their best chapter yet. I have more resources available at the website, and you can also join us for a free weekly challenge in our DestinationU Facebook group. Easy stuff that helps you, again, focus on you. And I hope you'll also get inspired in the Instagram feed and the new YouTube channel coming soon, as I continue to provide those resources and inspirational living for those of us over 40, 45, or 50. So thanks again for listening and for taking the time to invest in your personal health, and just hang in there. Remember to rejuvenate, regroup, reframe, reprioritize, and review. And whatever you do, keep taking the steps to ensure you're better prepared to avoid or handle that next big storm.